Konami's Metal Gear, or actually director and creative visionary Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear, is probably one of gaming's most epic stories ever told. With a storyline spanning over 5 decades in 11 canonical games, the series tells the timeline of the two protagonists, Big Boss and Solid Snake, in their bid to rid the world of nuclear weapons, biological threats, and of course, Metal Gears. Last gaming generation, we finally find out how the timeline all ends up with Metal Gear Solid 4, with Solid Snake closing out the series with a dramatic meeting with Big Boss, his clone father, and by circumstance a misunderstood sworn enemy. But what happened in the timeline that brought down Big Boss into the villain that he is now? That's what Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain hopes to answer. Set in 1984, Phantom Pain puts us in control of Big Boss in a new open world, a first in the series known for long cutscenes and linear gameplay. Having just recovered from a coma caused by Cypher's Skullface, this game's antagonist, you set out to rebuild your independent and unbiased military by taking freelance jobs, developing weapons, and requisitioning soldiers and equipment on the field. Gameplay combines Metal Gear's finely tuned stealth mechanics, sneaking around shadows, hiding in cardboard boxes, and tranquilizing enemies, with loud action-packed tank battles and boss fights. With the new sprawling open-world engine in war-torn Afghanistan and Africa, you can literally try anything, take any path, or use any method to accomplish the mission. It's the perfect stealth sandbox game and perfect military action sandbox game at the same time, with tight controls, fun mechanics, and just the right amount of difficulty. Gameplay-wise, this is the best Metal Gear has ever gotten, despite some lulls in between missions and a smaller variety of scenarios. On its own, Metal Gear Solid 5 story comes off strong with a quest to find Cypher's Skullface and take down his quote-unquote weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Near the end of the second chapter though, some signs of a rushed conclusion seems to eke through the otherwise well laid out campaign, most likely spurned by an unfortunate falling out between Konami and the series creator Kojima. In fact, the ending introduces more mysteries and questions than it answers, a far cry from the well tied off Metal Gear Solid 4 before it. For fans of the series, this will probably be the least satisfying part of the game, as trailers even declared that this game will hold a satisfying closure to the saga of Big Boss. As it is, it feels like it needs an extra game to bridge that gap, or even be considered unfinished. Without Kojima though, we may never see that sort of finale come to fruition. Thankfully, everything else around the game is exceptionally produced, as you would expect. The production values on the so-called Fox engine is beautiful, runs at smooth 60 FPS nearly all the time, and looks and sounds just oh so good. The deserts span 4 kilometers and the rainforests are dense with foliage. Sandstorms and rains obscure vision. Tanks, enemy outposts, or even animals of the world sound and feel authentic as well. Graphics and sound are so solid that if we had to complain, it's the mostly silent Kiefer Sutherland voicing Big Boss, who delivers the odd line or two, and a half-naked female character that's a little bit too overly sexualized. Everything else is spot on, and there's enough of the open world to keep us busy exploring even after the storyline has concluded. Overall, it's hard to knock the game for failing to conclude the otherwise heavy-handed storyline of the whole Metal Gear franchise. And on its own, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain is an excellent stealth sandbox that you'll never regret having participated in. It's a game that may not live up to the drama brought by previous games, but is an absolute tour de force on any PC or console this generation and the last. You owe it to yourself to at least play this game and see how far we've come.